Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I understand you want to become Hollywood filmmakers. You want to be producer, director, screenwriter, and post production editor all in one. I know that's an army of people, but there's some really cool and unique things you can do just by using a simple tool called Camtasia. There's other tools out there that you can use, such as Screencast-O-Matic. There's Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe is a little bit daunting, so I wouldn't recommend that if you're a first-time user. But Camtasia is really cool to use. It can do a lot of things. So in this session, I want to take a few different views to maybe inspire you to use some of the tools at the most basic level or a little bit more advanced level. And you might want to revisit this video maybe several times to kind of pick up on some of the techniques that I'll show you as well. So first of all, if what you're doing for your class is recording, narrating your PowerPoint slide deck, a few slides go by, some words go by, some images, and your voice will be explaining what's on those slides, then that's fine. But as you're recording, you can't be perfect, right? You're not going to memorize the whole thing. And you might say, pauses in the middle, maybe you'll cough or something like that. You never know. But I want to show you how to edit those out and then enhance that recording with maybe a title slide, some music or whatever you like. The other thing is I'll also show you how to grab some snippets or samples from YouTube videos or other videos and maybe even record yourself. So I'm not suggesting you would do an entire lesson with you on a video explaining. You could if you want. I don't think there's much value in that. But what I'm doing for my summer classes is I'm doing a very short, up to 5 minute, just introduction to the lesson and what we covered last session and what we're going to cover next session. So it'll be points on a screen and then me, like my actual image, my live recorded video on the side. I'll show all this to you. So you can do that. And then how about mixing all of this all in one place to make your video sessions pop out even more? And remember, the idea is to keep your students engaged, make them motivated, add a layer of connectedness, especially in these distant times. You're not used to it, they're not used to it. And the more you give them of a personal experience, I think the better the quality of that education, that little learning opportunity will be. So let's get right down to it. First of all, the tool we're going to use is called Camtasia Studio. Now, Camtasia Studio, you can get a free download, a 30-day trial, from a website called TechSmith, TechSmith.com, or you can use the version that Seneca is paying for already. Now, with the Seneca version, we have full licenses. It's actually available in every computer lab at the college. But you can't download it and install it yourself. It doesn't work that way. But it's accessible remotely on a virtual environment called My Apps. And the address is in front of you. So if you go to that, you're going to come to a screen where you just log in with your usual Seneca identity and give it some time. So as soon as you sign in, you'll see something like this. It's going to validate you to make sure you're a Senecan. And every time you see this option here to open Apps Anywhere Launcher, you want to do that. Now, the very first time you do this, it might take a bit longer. You might have to download and install some sort of a tool. That's okay. Just take the time, do it. It's perfectly safe. But I'm going to open the launcher and be patient. And you want to wait till the top turns green. You've been validated. Now take a look. There's a lot of software here, a lot of it. If you don't know what it is, stay away from it. But the one we're going to be looking for is called Camtasia, Camtasia. And you'll see it right there. You want to click Launch. And again, open Apps Anywhere. And be patient. These things take time. Remember, you're doing this remotely. And what you're going to get is something like this in front of you. Now, we're going to go into this environment shortly. But to begin with, I want to show you what I've done with my PowerPoint. So let me open up a PowerPoint. And let's say this is my lecture. So I have a lecture. on avionics, it's just 3 slides. You might have 20, 30, 40 slides. And I just want to show you something about the instrument panel. Now, if you didn't get a chance to watch my video on how to record PowerPoint, and again, there might be various ways of doing things. I'm going to show you one way. What you do is have all your PowerPoints ready, put your animations in, put your transitions in, and make your words as big as possible. Remember AOTA, accessibility. Things don't show up that clearly if they're really small. But you're going to go to the top where it says slideshow. You're going to record slideshow, start the recording from the beginning. Now make sure you tested your microphone in advance. I want to start the recording, and as I talk and I move my mouse around and I go forward in slides and backwards or whatever I want to do, it's going to record. And at the very end, it's done. Right? So when you're done with the recording, what you want to do is go to File, Save As, go to a place where you want to save it, and change the type to MPEG-4 video.mp4 and click Save. So now I recorded a lesson using my PowerPoint. It's got my voice on it. I can close this now. I don't need it. And that video will be available to edit right here. So let me actually try that. Look, I'm going to go to Camtasia Studio. You have it open in front of you. This is your preview screen. This is where all your assets will be, all the different images, sounds, the videos. And down here is your timeline. Now, if you've never used a timeline, it's fine. Just think of it as individual tracks or layers. We start off with track 1. And as you add elements to it, it automatically creates tracks for you. You can always use a plus sign here to create additional tracks. And I'm not sure what the limit is. I've been up to like 20. I'm sure you can go further. Generally, videos, you shouldn't have more than 5 tracks anyways. So let me demonstrate what a track is. So I want to import my media. What is it I want in my movie? So I go to Import Media. I go to a place where I put all my stuff. Now, I highly recommend you create different folders. So if you have got like 13 lessons that you're doing this for, create a folder for each lesson. Now, I have my MP4 right here, that PowerPoint that I recorded. It's called Avionics. It's an MP4, not the PowerPoints. So I'm going to double click and it imports it right there, see? And I'm going to drag and drop it right onto track 1. If you don't want to do that, you can just right click, add to trim to timeline at playhead. There we go. Now have a listen. I play it. It's exactly what I recorded, right? Now, along the way, you might have made some mistakes. Like look at the beginning. There was just way too much of a pause. So let me expand this down here. I'm going to click the magnifying glass, just make it a bit bigger. And you're constantly making it bigger and smaller, okay? Now, do you see that whole gap at the beginning? Just slide this over. Don't click the green or the red. That'll mess you up. Just click right in the middle. Go back and forth to a point where you want to cut. Click on this item and use the split button. See this? Not the scissors, but the split button. And now that remnant at the beginning, I could just delete it. And then move that back, okay? Now let's say somewhere in the middle, like right here, there's a big pause. You can split this clip anywhere you like. So now I could insert other things inside here. For example, I'm going to have a video, and I'll do this right now. I'm just going to move forward to a place where I talk about the instrument panel. You see right there? So right in the middle of this, I want to insert a YouTube video of an actual instrument panel. Right about there. And use the minutes and second timeline up here. So I'm going to click on this, blue, the item, the video. I'm going to split it. See? So I can move one part back and forth and I could insert something in the middle. Now that's different from inserting something on top. We're going to talk about that later as well. So let me just move this out of the way. Leave ample room. And this is where your zoom in and zoom out comes in handy, right? So right there, I want to insert a piece of a YouTube video. Now I already have a YouTube started. So I'm going to go on the top left, click record the screen. Now that's also an alternate. If you don't want to record your voice inside PowerPoint, you can do it this way as well. Have a look. You go to record the screen. So then you're going to see this box on the bottom of your screen, and you can choose right now which area of the screen you actually want to record. Do you want to record the full screen or just parts of the screen, which is called custom? So if you click custom and select area to record, you can now go to whatever part of the screen, in this case a YouTube video, you want to record, and just draw a line. You see the crosshairs? Draw a box around the area that you want to record. So after you select the area, make sure you go to audio, and you have to decide what you want to record. If you want to record your microphone, which is your voice, then have that on. If you only want to record what's on the computer, what's playing in the video, for example, choose this. You can have both. You can have an overlay of your voice with what's on the system, the video music or narration, but generally you only want one. So in my case, I'm not narrating. I'm going to turn the microphone off, so do not record microphone, and I'm going to leave record system audio on. Now when you're ready, click record. And wait 3 seconds and then click play. Now remember, wherever your mouse is, as long as it's in the zone, it will be recorded. Once you're finished recording, click stop. And then if you don't like the recording, click delete over here and start over again. Sometimes I've done like 5, 6, 7, 8 different records just to get it right. But if you want to use it, don't click produce. Click save and edit, and the video segment will be brought right into Camtasia. Even if you're already working on something, so just click save. Now it doesn't matter what that piece gets saved, but your actual video will show up right inside Camtasia Studio, just like this. So now you'll notice that the YouTube that you just recorded is actually in your Camtasia project, and it's at the end, and we can move it around. That's not a problem. Just to let you know, you could just record each thing separately. So whether it's a video you're recording, it's an actual website that you're recording, if you're recording a PowerPoint slideshow, in those cases, make sure that you do a full screen. That video will be there somewhere. You can either import it in or have it ready inside the Camtasia project that you're working on. So I'm just going to quickly show you another one. Let's say that I wanted to include this video in the middle of my presentation, which is here. Remember the PowerPoint slideshow? So I'm going to slide over to the area where I want to start the video. Click on it down here, split it, and just look at this. I want to make this jump all the way to the end. I'm just clicking and holding the mouse, and I'm going to move these two over like this. Now notice that when we recorded that YouTube video, it came up as a video and an audio separately. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? In fact, we could right click here and separate audio and video so that we can manage it differently. So have a look. The presentation is going to go like this. Your PowerPoint's going on, and then your YouTube video starts. Now, you see the YouTube video? It's smaller than the screen. You can always go up here and make it bigger, just like that. There we go. So there's the video, and once that's over, it's actually going to move into the rest of your PowerPoint slideshow. Now I want to show you a couple of other things. Let's say within the PowerPoint slideshow, you want to enhance some elements. I could go over here to where it says callouts and click outside, right? Don't have your mouse on one of these things, just click outside. And I could do a number of things. I could put shapes like arrows and bubbles. So if it's a person talking, you could put, I thought about this. You can put these nice arrows. You can do a highlight. So I'll show you a highlight. And in this case, it's yellow. So if we're going to a trim wheel, you can easily just say, look over here. Now that doesn't look too good. So you might want to change the highlight to a different color. And again, be careful. It has to actually make sense. So this one doesn't make sense. So why don't I try this call out over here, which is a spotlight. When you click it, the area that you select and you draw around will actually stay light and everything else will darken. And the length of time that it'll stay on the screen is shown down here. So if you don't want the spotlight to stay on for so long, just trim it back. Let's have a look. This is what a spotlight looks like. Okay, so it doesn't really do the job in this case, so I'm just going to click on it and delete it. I think what we need to do is zoom right into the trim wheel. So if you go to zoom in, see over here, the full screen is selected right now, and that's 67%. I'm going to take one of the corners, zoom in as much as needed. There we go. That's pretty cool. And you've got your trim wheel. Now the zoom is going to start there. Let's play it for a few seconds. And then if you want the setting to go back to the full screen, you actually have to start zooming back out. And you notice that on your timeline, it's depicted by these little markers, and they look sort of like, I think, badminton birdies. So that's a pretty cool feature to have. Now I'm going to show you some more cool stuff in a second. But just remember, you can record the entire screen, for example, your PowerPoint slideshow, have it as a separate video ready. You can record websites. So as you go to a website, wherever you're navigating will be fully recorded, and maybe you're talking in the background. In this case, we recorded just a YouTube video, and you could have all sorts of recordings. Look, if you're teaching something to do with software, like Excel, why not record the whole screen and then do what you need to do in Excel, and that it becomes a video. Bring it into Camtasia, add some titles, edit it. It's pretty cool. Make sure you use a lot of zoom though, because quite often when you record the whole screen, it doesn't come out clear, but zoom works very well. Now here's what I want to do. I want to do something different. I want to go back to the beginning of my slideshow, okay? I want to actually, you know what? I'm going to import something else in. Watch this. I'm going to import in a slideshow. It's actually one PowerPoint slide that I just saved. So let me do this. I want to, while this title is up, lesson 1, I want to do an introduction. Now I know there's an image there, and that's fine. I'll leave it there, leave it on for a few seconds. But I want to introduce the lesson with my own recorded video with my image on it. Now luckily I've already done this. And the way you would do that is either use your phone to record it, and when you record it, it becomes a video, right? You can import that video just like we did here. You can use a webcam and go to a tool called Zoom. Zoom is really good because you just create a fake Zoom meeting. Use Camtasia to record just that part of the screen. Make sure your microphone and audio are on. And that becomes a video of you. But also within, record the screen. There's actually a spot here. So in fact, actually, when you go to Camtasia and you use record screen, there was an option to record webcam as well. You can do that. So whatever way you get your own video in, you can use like digital cameras, whatever. We have a file. So let me show you the one I did. I'm just going to import it in. It's an intro, very kind of short video. And I have it right here. So I'm going to put it at the timeline. Now I'm not putting it in between. I don't want my PowerPoint slide to disappear and my video to come on. I actually want to put it on top of my video. You see that? Now I'm going to just shorten it a bit. I don't want it that long. I don't think you want to hear me for that long. So I'm going to cut it. Get rid of that much. Now have a look. It looks big. I mean, where's my slide? I want my slide here, right? I want that title here. So I'm going to go to the point where it starts. Now that video is just like a picture on the screen. Do you see? I'm going to make it small. And I'm going to make it small enough to cover just this area right there, okay? So as we look at this title, my video will pop up. Now likewise, if you wanted to do something different, you can now have this part really small, and then your video shows up here. So there's a number of things you can do, but let's have a look. Let me show you what this looks like, right? So you're looking at your PowerPoint slideshow. Then your own message shows up. Or sometimes you have, let's say, a guest speaker or an expert or a TED Talk on the internet. Snip that part. Again, TED Talks are pretty good. As long as you give citation, proper citation for the use of it, I don't think you want to do any commercial sort of things from a real business. But you can use them, and it just might help students understand that point a little bit better. Now, one of the cool techniques I like to use is as I'm talking in my video, different points show up here. And the way to do that, if you wanted to, and just pretend this is a blank slide. Actually here, you know what I can do? I can move this all the way to the end, and I could show you that's a blank, right? That's just blank. And you can change the background. But if I go to call out, I'll use one of these boxes, a text box, a rectangle. Just move it over to the side. Now you've got yourself almost like PowerPoint right inside your video. Now I don't know what color that is. It looks like something from the 1970s, so I'll just change it to maybe white. And this is where I'll type my point. So let's just say point 1. Now when you do this, you have to highlight the words, change the color. Unfortunately, I have to highlight all of it. And if you want to change the size and maybe even the font. So if I have 2-3 points on one screen, leave it. If you want to do different points one after the other, what you need to do is just duplicate it. So look at the bottom. I'm going to make this really small. And you can either redo it or just go to the end, copy it, and paste it. So as you copy and paste, you've got different points. So take a look. That's point 1. This is going to be point 2. I'll move over. This can be point 3. But realistically, what you might want to do is just have all your points lined up in PowerPoint to begin with. And then bring your PowerPoint into this. In PowerPoint, you can save each slide as a picture. Right? And then have your video right to the right of that PowerPoint slide. And in fact, I'll show you in a minute what that would look like. But that's a pretty cool technique to use as well. Let me show you some stuff. Actually, let me just leave that. I think it's fine. I'm going to import, not import, let me just show you on the screen a video that I actually did. And I think you'll like it. And it was for a course for the summer. Let me see, introduction video. Let's have a look. Okay. So take a look at this. It starts off with the title slide. Welcome, and welcome. Just to start with, I've got the Seneca logo on the left, some words at the bottom, and I'm talking on the right side. But as we move forward, as I get into some critical points, look what happens. I've actually got, that's a PowerPoint slideshow, right? And I just put my video in here. I only do this for a few minutes though. The rest of my classes are all recorded in PowerPoint. And at the end, I like to terminate with some sort of a nice jingle type thing. That will be the end result of Camtasia. So what you want to do is experiment with this sort of stuff. Make sure these timelines are all in order. As an example, let's say I wanted to put copyright, my name, or just your name at the bottom. Go to the beginning, put a call out, make it small. Okay, remember, respect the space. And let's say it was A. Patel, 2020, and I want that throughout. So right now, it's just sitting right there, right? So I'm going to move it all the way to the top. See here? It's only going to last for that long. But what if I stretched it out all the way to the end of my video? It's going to stay throughout the entire video. See? Now be careful. Look, see how that just doesn't look professional. You want to make it the right size, etc. So there's a lot to work with here. I know it was a little bit fast, but don't forget at the end to go to File, Produce and Share. Make sure you choose MP4 only up to 1080p. You can go straight to YouTube if you want. That's okay. I prefer not to do that. I prefer to do this and then submit it to YouTube myself. Give it a good name and call this Cam Intro. Choose where you're going to save it and then finish. But when you finish, make sure you wait. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of it, what happens. This is called rendering. This is a pretty short video, so it's not going to take too long. But my lectures, maybe they last a little bit longer, an hour, 20 minutes. Just be patient. And as it's rendering, don't touch it. Okay, so this is what we just did today. I spelled intro wrong, so anyways, I'll change that later. But this is what we just did today. This is just a demonstration. Take bits and pieces of it, make it your own. Experiment, play around with it. Give yourself about a week to get used to it. So have some fun with it, play around with it, and see what value you can create out of it.